Nacon, known for their controllers, has an offshoot called Rig, which makes headsets, a few models I've reviewed on the channel. The newest one, which I've had the pleasure of testing a few weeks prior to public release, is on my head, so we're reviewing it here today. This version is for PlayStation 5 and PC. There's also an Xbox variant, and this is the highest in flagship model from Rig currently. But to not waste your time, this is my new favorite headset for PS5 and PC, and has replaced my Pulse Elites, which have been my daily driver when playing on the PlayStation. That's all you needed to hear. These are insane. 60 hours of battery life, very comfortable. Dual mode connectivity, so you can take Bluetooth phone calls while gaming. Flip to mute mic, which is very flexible, unlike me. Without further ado, let's review the Rig R8 Spectre. A quick disclaimer to my audience, the Stallions and Stallionettes. This headset, as well as the customization side plates, which are currently installed, were sent for review. So thank you to the company, but they do not get an early preview, and the thoughts in this video are 100% my own. So if there's any cons, shortcomings, or areas of improvement, you're going to hear about it. So these companies make better products over time.
As for the packaging, included accessories on the Rig R8 Spectre dual wireless gaming headset with graphene drivers and base station, or for short, the R8 Pro HS. Depending on what platform you're running, Xbox and PC or PlayStation and PC, you are going to have blue or green. Couple of tech specs for the audio files: frequency response, harmonic distortion, and wireless latency of under 20 milliseconds. Good for gaming. Something unique to this model is graphene drivers, which are supposed to offer high fidelity, low distortion, and total immersion. These are the contents of the box. If any of this didn't come, you might have a problem. Like the previous Rig headsets I've reviewed on the channel, this does include a base station, which also holds the dongle, so you can save a USB port on your PC and also use this for charging. But the base station is a new design that has RGB lighting and is just a little bit sleeker looking. This model also sports snap and lock mod plates, which I was sent as well for part of this review, a mod plate set, so we're gonna customize the looks. The inner box is labeled, which is important because if you slide the sleeve open and the box is upside down, the headset will simply fall out. No laser cut foam, just some paper holding your headset in place, a little bit of plastic to keep it free of dust and debris. There is a little bit of dust and debris on here, but that's just from shipping, packaging, I guess. Underneath that paper divider, you are gonna have your accessory box, which has the base station, your dongle, and your cord, so don't miss out on that. A bunch of documentation, warranty and regulatory information, a QR code, which takes you to product support videos. This headset uses a different app than previous Rig headsets. It is available on Apple and Google Play. So the base station looks good, but I will say the plastics don't necessarily feel the best. You do have a button to control the RGB right on the base station. That's actually really cool that you don't need to go into the app. This is the pogo pins that will make contact with these metal pads to charge the headset when you dock it. And your USB-C port is at the bottom with a couple of tracks to route the wire cleanly, a couple of rubberized feet so this thing will not go sliding on your desk. The dongle is USB-C with a L shape. Should make getting in and out of precarious positions in the back of your tower pretty easily. You do have a mode dip switch for PlayStation or PC, and then a very short rubber cable with a little bit of Rig branding, no dust covers. If you want to buy some accessories for your new headset, cushions, mod plates, and more, there's a QR code for that. More of the key features on this placard: 60 hours of battery life, a flip to mute mic, Bluetooth on board, and memory foam ear cushions. And then of course those graphene drivers, which were also touted on the side of the box. The mod plate accessories will be held in these little plastic sleeves. They do have 4 magnets. That's how it snaps on and off. Very easy. Get a fingernail up underneath there. These PlayStation logo ones aren't bad, but I do like these ones over here a little bit more. Oh, that might be the wrong side. Oh, heck yeah. So you can't put the wrong side on the wrong side. Won't let you do it. That looks cool. Cosmetics or appearance is completely subjective, but I actually prefer the looks of this new Rig headset versus the previous, which had cutouts for size adjustment. This goes with a more typical extending arm for different noggin sizes. Matte black, there's no lime green or pink or any crazy gaudy colors, so it's pretty neutral, would go with almost anyone's game room or setup. And having those customizable side plates is really cool. The ones that were sent, I'm gonna keep these on. They look nice in my opinion. The only part I cosmetically do not like is right here with the branding, with the make and model name. As for ports, plugs, and controls, you do have the 4 metal pads which drop into the pogo pins of the dock to charge it. If you don't want to take that route, there is also a USB-C cable. This can also plug to the PC if there's any updates that do require that. Your power button with an LED status light. A single rocker, so you do need to do an additional button press if you want to switch between volume and chat game blend. EQ or audio mode switch, and a Bluetooth pairing button. All of that is on the right ear cup. I do greatly prefer to have all the controls on one side or the other controller, and this does that. What it doesn't do, as you can see, is have a 3.5mm headphone jack. Not a huge deal for me, as I prefer to go wireless, but if you are a dedicated wired kind of guy or gal, you can't do it. So there's a long LED status bar on the front of the dongle that I didn't notice when it was off, but plugging it into the PS5 over here, it is doing its thing. Once you power on the headset and it makes connectivity, that should go solid. A soothing female voice says, power on, connected, dongle, battery level, whatever it is. And it does go solid. Now, having a solid LED light might be distracting to you. If it is, use a USB port on the back of your PC or console. I do really like these cable tracks. The cords just fall in there. The RGB roars to life with a spectrum cycling. Pressing the RGB button won't swap through effects or modes, but rather brightness, from completely off to 4 levels of brightness. This is using 2 USB ports, but I'm gonna try to plug the dongle into the dock and see if I can get connectivity and charging through 1 port on the PlayStation. Okay, light is solid, that's a good sign. The lady voice said USB connected, another good sign. So I'm not a huge fan of that. You do technically have 2 places you need to control volume when you're on the console. This should just be turned all the way to 100 and then use the dial on the headset itself to adjust your volume on the fly. As for controls, when you're on the PlayStation side of the house, I'm assuming this would work identically on the Xbox, just console controls. When you press this Bluetooth button, it will swap between 4 connectivity modes with the female voice letting you know what you're in. There is Bluetooth, game, which I'm assuming is the 2.4G dongle, dual, which means just that, dual connectivity, so you can take a Bluetooth call. It'll turn your gameplay volume down so you can still hear that and be on the phone. And then finally, USB connected, which I guess is separate from 2.4G dongle and means actually going tethered or wired with the USB-C. This button didn't seem to do anything. Double pressing, triple pressing, holding down. On the PC, I'm sure it has some functionality. There is no clicking in this button. I assume that that was how you would switch between chat, game, blend, and volume. This is just your volume dial. And if you give a quick press of the power button, it will let you know what connectivity mode you're in and what your battery level's at. So she says game, battery level high. Hold it down for 2 seconds to power the headset on or off. Swapping the ear cups is just as easy as the customization plates on the outside as it is for magnets, and you can see those killer fancy drivers in there. Comfort is an extremely important aspect of a headset. I would rate it right up there with actual sound quality. This is a very comfortable headset. It has swivel ear cups, which is not only good for wearing the headset, but also when you're resting it around your neck. Super nice, moisture wicking, memory foam padded ear cups. These are something I would typically upgrade to because usually headsets come with some kind of leather pleatherette material, which seals sound in, but gets your ears pretty hot and sweaty quite quickly. So I generally upgrade to these mesh breathable ones, but they come with the headset. The only thing that would make this cooler is if it also came with the leatherette pair you could swap to. Identical mesh material on the top. I will say a little bit of hard plastic right here, but this doesn't make contact with your temples, so that's not a big deal. Up here, which actually does make contact with the top of your skull, super soft and squishy, and a nice moisture wicking fabric. Also size adjustment, I do prefer this typical method versus previous rig headsets. Also note this extra movement. So this is really going to move to your noggin, not the other way around. You don't have to adapt to the headset, it'll get comfortable for you. Flip the microphone up or down, you do get a chime letting you know that you are muted or unmuted. Playing some modded Fallout 4 on the PlayStation while I talk a little bit about audio quality. So there's a gunfight going off in the distance, and I can clearly hear 3 different calibers of weaponry going back and forth with each other. I of course also have the Pip-Boy playing in the background, so some of that 50s music. Actually, I kind of want to do the opening scene where there's the big explosion, because I've heard that so many times through so many different headsets and speakers. So right now I can hear vertibirds flying overhead, wind rustling through the trees, the separate conversations of all these families panicking because there's a nuclear doom impending. My footsteps sound very nice. Good directional sound, stereo spread as I move left and right while that trooper's talking. Let's try the different surround sound technologies. The headset is labeled by name, R8 Pro HS. There's 4 options on the PS5. Linear PCM, which is no virtual surround. It's just the purest, most untampered with
sound. Dolby Atmos, which is my favorite surround sound technology as it's object-based, not how many speakers or channels you have, so not 5.1, 7.1, but you could have hundreds of different things in a game or movie providing different sound signals. Dolby Audio, which is Dolby Surround but not Atmos, and then DTS. There are other surround sound technologies like THX Spatial and Windows Sonic, but those aren't available here on the PlayStation. I'm gonna select Dolby Atmos. Just loaded up another save file. This is my survival playthrough. The last little sentiment before we move over to the PC is that if you're on the PlayStation side of the house and you turn on Dolby Atmos, this headset sounds insane. I've played through Fallout 4 so many times, so I have a really good baseline in the back of my brain as to how it should look and sound, and this is probably the best I've heard it sound. This is a microphone test with the Rig HS headset. This is the out-of-the-box default sound. I haven't done any customization, tweaking. How do I sound? How now, brown cow? Unique New York. And let's test that flip to mute feature. Blah, blah, you could not hear me.
I have done a full tour walkthrough of this phone application 3 times now, and my voice keeps cutting out or just not recording at all, so I hope that this is the one. I don't usually like phone-based applications, but this one is laid out really pretty and has a lot of useful customization. It's a good app overall. You can connect to this app via Bluetooth while still connected to your console via the dongle in dual mode. The initial pairing, you're gonna hold down the Bluetooth button on the top of the headset for 6 seconds. If you have an update, it will be available right there. The settings tab does have a power off timer. By default's 1 hour. I like 15 minutes since it's a wireless headset to save some juice if I set it down and forget about it. Tutorial is so useful. It has all of these buttons, and clicking on each one shows you what a double press, long press, everything will do in a very pretty, nice looking thing. Customization's the tab you're going to spend most of your time. There are 3 profiles that you can tab between, and you can also rename profiles or the headset itself. Headset start mode is what you're going to boot up into. I like to be able to take phone calls via Bluetooth or make tweaks in the app while still being connected to the console. But if you want one or the other to save battery life by turning off the other chip on board, you can do that. If you don't like the lady voice or beeps, you can turn off prompts and tones, and game chat balance doesn't give you an extra functionality for that, but rather just saving of that feature, if I worded that correctly.
So as for the pros, cons, and verdict, let's start with the cons because I really don't think there is that many of them. For this being a flagship, high-end, expensive headset, it would be nice to have a second ear cup set included in the box, a pleather leatherette sealed one, and then a mesh breathable material. And the USB-C cable that's included is a short rubber non-fancy one, although that's just going to be used for charging as this is a wireless headset. I do wish the application was available on PC as well, even if it did the exact same functionality as the 2 phone versions. It would just be cool if you're at PC to be able to diddle and dawdle with settings. The flip to mute mic, I'm going to list as a con. It does sound good. It's very flexible and adjustable, but I do prefer removable or retractable microphones. Pull completely off the headset or retract into the ear cup. This is cosmetically kind of silly looking, having this big old stick. There's no 3.5mm headphone jack if you're somebody that likes to go wired with a headset, but if you're spending this much on a wireless headset, you probably just want to go wireless. The last one is I would like a separate dial or slider for chat game blend. I do like having a separate physical control for that instead of having to press a button or do something on the headset to make the volume wheel do chat game blend. On to the pros. There's a lot. 60 hours of battery life. Insanely comfortable. Nice adjustable head strap. There's a reason I'm sitting here doing the verdict section and don't want to take the headset off. It's keeping my ears warm and it feels really comfortable. The sound quality is ridiculously good, even in linear PCM, which is untampered with, no virtual surround sound technologies. But I did also try THX Spatial on the PC as well as Dolby Atmos on the PS5, and both sounded insanely good. Customization with this headset's very easy. You've got magnetic ear cups, so if you want to swap those to a different color or material, and then you've got customization plates on the outside to change the look of your headset. Also, a big thank you to Rig for setting those as well. Dual mode connectivity is really nice. The app, despite the fact it's only on phone, is really nice. Easy to navigate, tons of useful information, had every setting I wanted, nothing I didn't. So in conclusion, this is my new favorite headset for PlayStation and PC, and the one that's going to be permanently docked to the PlayStation, which is my most most used console. It's where I do the majority of my gaming. So this headset is going to be getting used a lot, and therefore a follow-up review, long-term reliability, owner's review is going to be coming in the future. So make sure you like and subscribe to catch that bad boy. You can still see it if you don't like, but subscribing would help you to see when that video goes live. Thank you for watching. This is linked in the description below alongside an exclusive discount for my audience, and I will see you Stallions and Stallionettes tomorrow. Peace.